what better way to celebrate Valentine's Day than to have a little spring football starting up? Um, Reasons for starting spring ball when we are, there's a need for football in my mind as soon as possible. We want the players to get back to start thinking football as soon as possible also. And we want to see exactly what our football team, part of our football team will look like this year. There's some things in recruiting we can do too, of course. When you start a little bit early, you can then concentrate. Get back. Last year we were, late with our spring recruiting. This year we'll be able to get a jump start on that and let our players, transition back into the all-season workouts. So we have a plan. Anxious to, of course, get back out there on the football field. When you start this early, there are some issues that you could have, weather. But we'll go in if that's the case. Our numbers are down a little bit, which normally is the case, when you graduate that many seniors. But that should just be a better situation for some of our guys that would like to get a long, hard look. Depth charts don't mean an awful lot yet, but we do have a plan of how we're going to start. And we talk more on starting rotation, who's going to get the first shot up, to prove that they should be in that position and they should stay in that position. We have some injuries, Chase Crouch, different guys. So that will knock our numbers down a little bit more also, but we'll deal with it. Take your questions.
Lovie, you got a staff opening with Tim McGargle leaving for the Packers. Just can you comment on Tim going there, what you think of his opportunity there, and what you're looking for in that position?
Tim McGargle, as I said before, I think is an outstanding young coach. When you're a young football coach, I once got paid by 4 different universities in one calendar year. I think it's good to work with as many different people as you possibly can. But young people are mobile. They move around a little bit. Great opportunity for Tim. To work with a great organization. We will miss him, but that's a part of life when you have good young coaches. They do move around a little bit. Our plan is that I'm in the process of hiring someone right now, and we should have that person in place before spring ball starts. I know it starts Tuesday, but things do happen a little bit quicker.
Is there a focus on that position? Is there a certain position you want or certain area that you want ties with recruiting?
Yes, there is a position. Of course, Tim was a linebacker coach. We have some flexibility on our staff, though. Coach Nickerson has been a linebacker coach throughout. So we're looking at it's a defensive position is what we're saying right now. It won't just necessarily be a linebacker coach that's coming in. Every position that we have that guy needs to be able to be a good recruiter. Of course, you know how important recruiting is to being a successful football coach in college. We have an excellent recruiting staff, so we are taking that into consideration too.
Okay, I got another one. Josh Sternquist is gone. You hired him. Why did you want to make that change after 11 months?
Well, you make changes when you think, to me, 11 months, it's a new year, and you go through a season, and you make adjustments you feel like are necessary after you go through a year. We went through a cycle. I think we need to go in a different direction, and I made the move based on that.
How are Mikey Dudek and Dre Brown recovering at all?
They're making a lot of progress. You guys, of course, know Mike, and it's about slow down instead of speed up. We're going to take our time with him, every precaution that we possibly can. So you won't see Mike out there an awful lot in spring ball. He won't be practicing right away or anything like that. We have a plan in place for him, and Dre, and the rest of our athletes.
Coach, when you have a guy like Crouch who can take snaps, obviously, and throw the ball a little bit, can you put him out there with the other 10 guys and run some plays with him this spring? I mean, just to get him acclimated?
Knowing Chase, he will take a lot of mental reps, but he's not to that point where we can even risk that. Chase will not be taking any reps like that early on. You know, hopefully before the spring is over, he might be able to do a few things, but he won't be around in any position where he could possibly get even a bump or something like that early on. Again, there's a plan for Chase, and when you start practicing this soon, you realize that. But Chase missing a few reps isn't all bad. Chase is our quarterback. We need to kind of see what we have behind him as much as anything also. And then it's what you're trying to get from the spring. We're not game planning anybody anytime soon. There's a lot of players we don't know about, and we need to be able to see them. So there'll be, and with the numbers, it's not like there's going to be a whole lot of big scrimmages and things like that. As you look at our depth chart, at the most we're probably too deep at some positions, so it'll be a lot of individual instruction going on.
Coach, as you put the offense together, can you tell us who the starting guards are at this point? Who will start out at guard?
Normally, I wouldn't talk a whole lot on starting lineups, but I guess that's not a big deal right now. Jordan Fagan should start at the strong tackle position. Darte Lee play next to him. Probably start off with Gabe with Nick Algretti at the center position. Gabe Megason will be the guard, and Christian Delario will be our quick tackle. That'll be the first offensive line you'll see out there, and we'll start working from there.
How much more comfortable are you now going into your second spring ball compared to last year, where it was kind of a rush to get a staff hire, learn about your new team?
How did I do with those 5 offensive linemen, the names? Did I
Got
get
them right,
those
I think. Yeah.
I couldn't have done that last year right away. But we know each other a lot better now, and really where to put the guys, you know, the options that we have at each position, which is a good thing. It was about the names on the helmets and things like that, trying to establish the culture. We're still doing all of that, but we feel like personnel-wise we're in a lot better place. A lot better place with what we think our players can do, and now trying to take it to that next level. Winning 3 games isn't good enough, and we feel real good about the class that's coming in, but it's about what we have right now.
Lovie, for the absence of a retrospective spring game, are you doing that just to save on injuries happening to some of these guys that have been hurt in the past, that you don't want the same thing to happen this year?
Well, the spring game, a lot is said about the spring game. To me, it's about spring ball. And to play a game like that, you need a lot of numbers, and our numbers just aren't there. We would do something, all right, for some type of group effort. But as far as spring game, I'm just not really a big spring game guy anyway. I think there's a time when you want people to be able to see your team in every situation. We will have something like that.
Now that they've been here, Coach over here, now that they've been here for a little bit longer, how have you felt so far about your early enrollee guys?
Should have talked about them. It's not like we've been here, watching them an awful lot, just coming off the road last week, but we have had a chance to see them running around. Very pleased. Kamani Green, quickness, can catch, not really, catching the ball or anything, but just seeing his movement, like it. Owen Carney, I'm going to say the same thing. Delshawn Phillips, athletic guy, Howard Watkins. So right now, of course, we're anxious for spring ball and get them more in a group setting where we can use the ball and all those things. But in the early morning workouts that we've seen, please.
Lovie, now that you've been through a full recruiting cycle, what do you like about what you did, and what do you guys want to improve upon?
Well, of course, in the process of that, as I said last week when we had our, the recruiting press conference, the guys did a great job. Impressive listening to them. Worked hard throughout, personable, informative. So as far as that part, really like, but there's some things that we need to do, with where we can make it better, and just not after we get to the players. I mean, before we get to the players, and you always evaluate your evaluation process on deciding exactly who we're going to take. Mailings, there's an awful lot that goes into it. We will, of course, the job is to be better on the football team, but is to be a lot better with recruiting also. Pleased with our first class, but every class from here on after should be hopefully a lot better.
Coach, back here. You guys pride yourself on physical defense, the takeaways, want to get as many takeaways as possible.
Yes.
Losing a lot of leaders on that defensive side, two guys that arguably first, second rounders. How do you feel, going into spring and seeing guys that hopefully they can just kind of take over and just, keep that moving, especially, going into a slate that you're going to see next year?
Really pumped up about, of course, you mentioned Smoot and Carroll, but, Hardy, West, all of our guys that have an opportunity to play at the next, Justin Hardy, all of them have an opportunity to play at the next level. But you mentioned takeaways. We didn't take the ball away last year. We got a few takeaways, but we have to do a lot better job of teaching it, getting the point across on how important it is. That's why we can't wait to do it as soon as possible too. They have to wait another month. It's not the same as having to be ready to play football right now, but that will definitely be an emphasis. We didn't do a good job at that last year.
Coach, you've been somewhat vocal on Twitter in support of other Illinois athletic teams. You've showed up to several men's basketball
You've been
games.
paying attention, I see.
Yeah, no, I am. So what do you feel like your role is after a year as an ambassador on campus at Illinois?
Well, the word ambassador, first off, I'm a sports fan, and we have excellent sports programs here, and I love them all. It's as simple as that. And you have the block I own, of course, have more incentive to really cheer for our teams. Looking forward to now that recruiting has ended, to be able to go to more is one thing. To congratulate people after, we want to be involved in the stands, supporting our teams. Basketball was my favorite sport forever, and it's real close to football right now. So I pay a little bit more attention to it, but I am looking forward to, just as much as anything, supporting our programs more. Just a little odd sitting down for a press conference. Maybe the second one I've ever done sitting down, so bear with me.
Lovie, you talk about guys making a name for themselves. Is Kendrick Foster kind of a poster child for that after what he did last year, and what do you expect out of Kendrick this year?
More things. Poster child, absolutely. We got her last year with Kendrick. Our first conversation, Kendrick will probably tell you, I say, hey, Kendrick, picture this. You have a 5-pound weight in this hand and a 5-pound weight in that hand, and you're trying to run around. Wouldn't it be a lot easier if we got rid of that? Made sense to him. Makes sense to you. Made sense to me. But everything we've asked him to do, he did. And didn't talk about it, just went to work. Wasn't on the first team right away. Has earned everything he's gotten. Talk about ambassador for our university. Recruiting. Who do we have this week, Coach? Our guys did. Talk about our coaches. Our guys did an outstanding job, too. So I am excited about what Kendrick can do taking this next step. He had some success last year, but we need him to have more this year. And all of our guys. We graduated four captains. Who's moving into those roles? And you start defining those roles and having guys move into them right now. He should be one of those guys in a consideration for that.
What strides do you want to see out of Jeff George Jr. and with Chase not practicing? What other quarterbacks do you have who can?
Good question. On which other ones? Thinking about that in my mind right now. No, seriously. Last year with Jeff, I knew his name, not more. Didn't get a whole lot of reps, but you have to be ready at any time. I think he did a good job under the circumstances of being called upon to be our starting quarterback, leading us to a big win. But Chase isn't going through most of the work this offseason. here's a great opportunity for us to see exactly what we have in Jeff Jarrett, for him to move into that role. And just normal growth that a young player goes through. That's where he is. Of course, he needs to develop his body. They're all doing that, doing a great job with Coach Bose, but just being the guy from the start, I'm anxious to see how he's going to handle that. Other quarterbacks, Bernard Davis, we have him. We don't have an awful lot right now. As I said, if we're at 2 deep, we're in pretty good shape for the spring.
Lovie, Keyshawn Vaughn has transferred out of the program. Des Kane did as well. Just what do you make of those guys moving on, and anybody else that's transferring out of the program?
Just like to me, with everything else, change happens with the new year. We do things a certain way around here, and now everybody knows how we're going to do it. Some want to be a part of that, some don't. There's a player that wants to transfer, I'm not stopping anyone. All right, we want guys that want to be here under the, the rules and the situations, all of that we have available for them. Sometimes divorce is a good thing, unfortunately, in life. So, wish them well. Excited about the guys that we have here right now. Yes. Uh-oh.
You're a prestigious NFL coach. I want to know, after that Super Bowl, you think Tom Brady is the best quarterback of all time?
What was that question again?
I think Tom Brady is the best quarterback of all time.
I thought that's what you said. I mean, how can you argue it? I'm a Tom Brady fan. I'll just say that. Whether he's the best, I mean, there's a lot of great quarterbacks. I grew up a Dallas Cowboys fan. My favorite player of all time is Roger Staubach. So, greatest of all time, of course, he's in the conversation when we all agree with that. I just know right now, unfortunately, I was on the other side of the sideline on his first Super Bowl win, so I've had up close and personal looks at him quite a bit. Outstanding job this week, or last week with the Super Bowl. I think we'll let everybody else determine exactly where he fits in the history, but somewhere up there. Fair enough? Thank you very much. See you at spring. See you Valentine's Day. What a great time to hang out with a bunch of guys. Just not one guy. For the ladies in the room, just not one guy. All the guys will be out there Valentine's Day. See you later on.